Welcome to the Real Estate Update Podcast, where we focus on homebuyer education because knowledge is power. I'm your host, Paul Santapani, and joining me today is Bernie Frascarelli, Head of Realtor Relations at Best Interest Financial. In this episode, we're going to talk about mortgage rate math. And I know, I start to glaze over anytime the topic of math gets brought up, but fully understanding interest rates and their true cost is a very important part of buying a house. So Bernie, let's take an example with some numbers. The latest U.S. median home sales price is about $400,000, and the average 30-year fixed interest rate is about 6.5%. Let's assume you put 10% down. That's 40 grand. So your mortgage you're taking out is 360,000. How much will a borrower pay over the life of that loan?
Life alone, they'll pay $824,000 total out of their pocket in that 30-year mortgage.
Okay, that is pretty significant when you think about it. Double the sales price. Is there a formula that people can easily use when trying to figure this out?
So there's a certain kind of calculator I use. It's actually on my phone that come up with that. But the best way to do it right now, if people really want to see it, is just go to ChatGPT and put it in there, and it'll come up with the exact formula what they use. Because there's not really a simple formula to be used at that point.
A lot of lending websites, they have their own calculator, and you can go there and plug in your numbers and get a better feel for what you're going to pay.
Correct.
So Bernie, there are so many potential home buyers that are holding out or have been holding out for lower rates. What difference does a basis point shift make? And is there an amount of points where it's a significant savings for borrowers?
That's a great question. So I really do feel the difference is anywhere from a half point to a point. A lot of times people will think a quarter point will save them a whole bunch of money. But if you really think about simple math and you really dissect that, anything from like a 6.5 to a 6% is only like $50. It's not going to save you a whole bunch of money. Where you're actually missing your opportunity is on the house values going up. Meaning if you bought a $400,000 house today, in a couple years when we might see 6% again, or 5.99s or 5.5s, that house will be valued at 425. Meaning for $50 more a month, you'll have more equity of 25,000 than that $50 a month. That's one thing first-time homebuyers have to understand. Don't wait for rate, because as rates decrease, home values go up. Meaning more buyers in the market, mean your house will be worth more.
Yeah, totally. And I don't know about you, but where I am, we're definitely seeing that. Demand is spiking in Chicago, and I'm sure in a lot of other places too.
I'm literally 5 minutes out of Ann Arbor, and I can tell you I bought my house 10 years ago. Now it's double the value.
Wow. Okay.
Think about that. That's kind of, if you think, when you sum it up that way, every minute you wait, you're losing money just because where rates are.
Now, when you get approved for a rate, you'll be shown the rate itself and the annual percentage rate, or APR. And that's usually a higher number. So what's included in the APR that makes those different?
Your closing costs. So title work, loan origination, appraisal, credit reports. That's what drives APR. Now, the one thing we have to realize, what APR does, it takes it over the life of the loan. So that closing cost that you have will be an annual percentage over life of the loan. That's why you usually see it higher. Let's say you're at a 6.5, you'll probably see APR about 6.6, 6.7. If it's over a 0.25%, that means you're getting overcharged for your closing costs.
Okay, that's good to know. And can you negotiate that down, or are those set?
You can negotiate it. There's things you can do. You can go shop around your title company. I'd ask for my lender, hey, maybe go look to see if there's a lower cost for appraisal. There's things people can do, but a lot of times loan origination, not points, loan origination and your title work's pretty fixed. You might save a couple $100, but it's not going to break the bank.
Got it. Okay. And when you are borrowing money, your balance is split between your principal and your interest. Is it beneficial to pay one off faster than the other?
You can't pay them both. You have to pay the interest first. If you ever look at an interest diagram, what you're going to see, the interest rates, the interest is always a lot more. Then as you get less down, you're paying more of the principal off. And you can go to any mortgage rate website and it will show you, like, if you're making a $2,000 payment, where you're going to see $1,800 goes towards interest, 200 is only going towards the principal.
So, with that in mind, do you have any tips, tricks, or hacks to help borrowers pay less in interest or pay
Yeah,
off their mortgage faster?
I believe in paying it biweekly. That knocks off one. That gives you an extra payment every single year if you buy biweekly, meaning it can drop 3 to 4 years off your mortgage easily by one extra payment a year.
So, Bernie, what do you need to provide a lender in order to get an approved mortgage rate quote?
That's a great question. A lot of times I ask for credit score, where they're buying the house, purchase price, down payment, income, and how much assets they have. And the reason I ask those questions is I want to give them the exact quote. If we play with generic numbers, your quotes can be generic. Everything is literally going to be to the client, because there's certain loan programs out there that will allow certain people to get better rates if they qualify for certain things.
And what determines the rate that you get quoted?
Down payment and credit.
Okay. Bigger down payment, higher credit score, better the rate.
Correct.
And what are some ways that you can lower your rate?
Oh, there's a lot of ways you can buy points, and points are not always a bad thing. I know people are like, oh, I don't want to pay for points, but if the points, there's a break-even point between the points and the payment of 2 years, a lot of times it's a great idea for clients. But if it's more than a 2 year break even point, I would not buy the points. And when I say that, it's like, if today's rates are 6.5 and you only have to pay a point up front for a 5.5 on a $400,000 loan amount, that's going to drop your payment about $150 to 200, but you're only paying 3,000 up front. It's worth it. So it matters the situation for every client.
And when you are buying discount points, are those fixed costs? Are they different by lender? Are they different by borrower? All three?
It's fixed
Both?
cost.
None?
It could be borrowers, it could be lenders. It can matter your situation. Like, I'm going to tell you now, a lot of times when I buy points, it's on an ARM product because I want them to get that lowest rate. If they readjust in 5 to 7 years, I'm like, hey, this makes sense, right? We plan on being in this for a while. We don't plan on refining you out here, and here's your break-even point. It just literally matters how comfortable the client is with that payment.
And what are the things that you found that borrowers know the least about mortgage rates, know the least about mortgages, that would be, really helpful for them to know going into buying a house?
First things first, what every person buying a house should be comfortable with their lender. That's the first thing in my mind. Be comfortable with the person you're talking on the phone, making sure they sound like they know what they're talking about and not just trying to sell you something. The second thing they need to realize is, if you're a first time home buyer, there's a lot of different products out there. There's zero down products. Doesn't mean it's always the best for you. There's USDA products that it's an amazing product in certain areas. There's products out there that fit everybody's capability. What you read online sometimes doesn't mean it's correct, meaning there could be something else out there that benefits you, or it just might not suit you in the long run.
Yeah, not everything on the internet is true. I've
No,
I've learned that.
no.
The last question I have for you, and I ask this to everybody: what is your top advice for first-time home buyers right now?
Buy now and do not wait. Because when you do go to buy your house that you liked, literally a year down the road is going to be $20,000, $30,000 more. Those $100,000 homes that are out there, they're going to be $150,000 because investors are buying them up very quickly.
All right, get now or forever hold your peace.
Mhm.
Bernie, thank you so much for lending us your insights. I hope to talk again soon.